I'm live. Good morning, everybody. Just a reminder, if you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead about 17 minutes. So I'm just getting on here, getting things set up for the radio stations. So we can get all the times done. I got a beautiful sunrise this morning. Cheers to you. Morning, Jim. How you doing today? Don't say that very often in the mornings here, do we? I was out checking water and cattle and everything here this morning, and it was chilly. Sweet. Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Good to have you along here today. Foggy morning. We did not. It was hazy, and we got some that smoke coming in from the Billings area. That fire is really going to be choking us out here next week, and of course the Canadian wildfires. They're always part of that, but it's been pretty clear until then. But starting last night, you could even smell it. Ouch. You ever realize how often you use your fingertips until you put a knife right through it and do a pretty deep slash in there? That's what I get for changing my razors and my knife. Well, other than that, I guess it's time for a morning shot of ivermectin, ladies and gentlemen. Foggy down that way too? Really? Morning, Eric. Good morning. Good morning, Karen. Hope everything is good and dandy at KOLY in Mobridge. Thanks for letting me know you're there. Appreciate it. Did you see that Hickok 45 is being taken off of YouTube? First you have to tell me what Hickok 45 is. That I'm not sure of. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Morning, KGFX. Good morning, folks. Appreciate you guys down that way, too. Big day in your area with the Governor's Cup right out of there. Headed to Thunder Valley. Good deal. Good deal. Uh-oh. Look at there. I finally got rid of the peanut butter stuff that somebody brought during, I don't know when, but don't do that. Bring regular stuff. Let's see here. Here we go again. Headed to Thunder Valley. Good morning. One Shot Cap. Good morning. Josh, good morning. Waylon, good morning. Did you get your water tank? I did. Get it cleaned. Oh, what a mess. Don't buy a used oil-filled water tank to do as a storage tank. I get it. It was cheap. I get that, but it wouldn't have been my first choice by any means. But I don't get asked. No more ticks. Took Dad's duster. Eric, did you see the classic car auction coming up July 27th in Bowman? Go to pifers.com, Pifers, and look at some of those cars. I don't know if any of them interest you or not, but 15 or more years of gun reviews and shooting on him. Okay, I did not know that. It doesn't surprise me that that's being taken off of YouTube. I think I got to come up with another plan or solution or something here for mine too, because I'm not sure how long they're going to let me last. If anybody knows a website designer, if any of you folks know of anybody, let me know. I'm looking at trying to redo my website. Got hacked so many times we had to take it down. It was like a link to Viagra for some Cialis or something. I have no idea why. Give you a big old stiffy. Yeah, Eric, take a look at that. There's some. I just love cool vehicles like that. I'm not a Corvette fan though. I really ain't. Never have been. 60s, early 60s, maybe. See what happens, John? Go through this every time I call him. We got to go through the first few
Your
calls.
call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Do that and then wait and see if he answers back. But anyway, yeah, I looked at some of those cars and I don't know what it is. I love cars in the 30s era. Love those cars. But that Hudson, for some reason, just I hate the paint job, but I just like the way Hudsons look. Brian Water, good morning. I don't know if any of those. There's a rat rod. That'd be fun to race. Get that ready to go. What else is going on here? Let's see. I got this ready. Oh, shit. I better get this ready. Get my stuff ready here before I forget what's going on in my life. Ready. Now I got up at 4 this morning, went out and took the new puppy out for its job. Threw it back in a kennel, and I took my cow dog. We went out and got some people visiting. And a 10-year-old gal, and she jumped in with me. She was up before I was this morning, ready to go. Went out and checked cows and water and minerals, and the Flex Seal is working on the other tank. Flex Tape and Flex Seal. I can't believe it. I was like Billy Mays. I actually had something going on there. The last Chevy had hit and miss engine. We sold some hit and miss engines at an auction. I can't believe how expensive they've gotten. I can't believe how much of a collector's item they are. That's crazy. Well, let's try them again here. He's probably indisposed. Well, it might be a grind my gears show here today. Interesting. Nothing hunting right now. Nothing going on. Deer and elk are looking good so far this year. Eric didn't want to be around this weekend. I'm guessing this is the getting around that time of the year, isn't it? Stations, we'll do a countdown here. 7 o'clock coming up here. Pretty close. I was welding a new net wrap pan in my baler. And holy moly, that stainless steel. I got a local welding shop. He bent up a whole bunch of stainless steel ones. Stations countdown here. 7 o'clock straight across. Coming up on mark. Anyway, if you have a 568, 569 baler, anything that has those net wrap pans in the back that are starting to get a little thin, there's a welding shop that has them pre-bent, ready to go stainless steel. All you do is you can either put it over the top of the old one and weld it on, or cut the old one off, is what I did. I got the old one off of there and put this one on. And be darned if I didn't get right through the welding jacket. I didn't see that little burr going in there. So, but yeah, if you need one of those, Randy's Welding in Bowman has them on hand, ready to go. Because last year I went to John Deere, asked him what the whole apparatus pan, net wrap pan would cost, and they said like $1,250. I said, well, I'll make it one more year, right? This year, getting a little bit more wore out. I was like, it may be time. $3,750 is what it costs this year to order one of those. One of the pigtail wirings, just to have accessory power, that was $17 last year, is $97 this year. It's crazy, but anyway. Morning, Master John. Did you see my salute to you out in the pines there? All right, John. I don't know what we're going to do here. Getting kind of down to the wire there, buddy. Probably forgot. 3 years already, huh? Wow. Well, there you go. I'll give it 2 more minutes. Mr. Mayor, are you on tap? Are you ready to go or not? Need somebody in the back ready to go. Any one of you guys. Wayne, let me know. Text me. Talk about lighted knocks. Mr. Arman is sleeping in today. Gene, you're ready? Okay. Sounds good. See what happens? This is how you know it's live radio. So that you know what's happening. Wayne, you can do it too? Well, Mr. Mayor, I'll do you in the first half. Wayne will catch up in the second half. How's that sound, folks? If you guys are good with that, give me the thumbs up on YouTube and we'll go that route. And we can just ignore John Arman. He can go until next week. Well, I got questions for you, Mr. Cox. All right. Make sure I have your number. Wayne, okay, sounds good. First half and second half, let's do that. John's indisposed. His wife is keeping him busy this morning. Mr. Mayor, I'm calling you, by the way. Oh.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Cox. Hey, see, now John's calling me, so I'm going to have to let both of you and Wayne go again. So I got my main man calling in. He's on hold. He probably hears now. He's late here to the party.
Hey, that's all right. We can we'll pinch hit later.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate you. Bye.
Hey, you bet. Bye.
There you are.
Late to the party, like
Damn,
always.
Scaring me here. I had backups going on here and ready to go.
I saw that. My wife grabbed my phone. She goes, "You're supposed to do Scott's show," and I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "You can thank me later."
I told YouTube that your wife was keeping you disposed. I got you. I knew she was.
She's you saved me because I got to start staying in the house again.
Yeah, they make people you can hire to do that.
I know. My wife said it would cost like $12,000. So I guess I have the job.
I hate painting and staining.
I did it for a lot of years. A lot of years in college.
Hate it.
It was good. It's good money. I mean, you really do make good money. Yeah. It's just boring.
I got an elk hunter. He said, "Do you need any painting done?" I said, "Absolutely." I said, "My wife wants the inside of the house, all the rooms painted, and so he's trading that out for a cow elk hunt. So hell yeah."
What? Tell him I got elk too.
It works good. So all right, stand by. We're coming in 15 seconds, John. Stations, 10 seconds to showtime on mark. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, heard all across the Dakota Territory. on great stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY Mobridge, K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains and Bismarck, Command, and KCJB 910 AM in Minot, and Western Edge KLTC. Good to have you along here in another beautiful, and I say that, and I don't know how it is across all of the Dakota Territory, but it is a beautiful Saturday morning here in the Badlands in the little piece of heaven I call home. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV and social media, TikTok famous. Been doing all those. Well, I seen you've been doing some of those dance trends that have been going on. So, been hitting all that. So, congratulations on your fame that way too. Here, so there you go.
Let's get that straight. I've never been on TikTok.
Haven't you? Oh, okay. Well,
Never.
Maybe it's a different John Arman I'm thinking of there. But how's it been going, my friend? It's been a while since I talked to you.
No, it's been going pretty good. I just wishing my life away, wishing for the fall. But other than that, just kind of plugging away. Well, I'm hoping for a little bit of rain. Things are looking good at the ranch, but we need a shot.
Oh, boy, it's going to be a next couple of weeks here, all in the 90s. Before we get started, I want to wish all the best of luck to both North and South Dakota. South Dakota's 50th Governor's Cup fishing tournament's going on in Spring Creek Recreation Area. That's just north of Pierre ways. And the North Dakota one is going on as well. And so that's going on here into the 2024. There's the 49th annual is going on here at Fort Stevenson Park up on Lake Sakakawacker. So the Walleye Cups, the Governor's Cup's going on here this weekend. So you and I are sitting here not fishing.
Well, I think it's a good idea because JW said it's just been really, really tough up there. He said it's been one of the toughest years he's ever had up there. I think he texted me the other day and he caught like 3 fish. And they're fishing all day long, and he was pre-fishing, and it's been tough.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing from a few people on Sakakawea, but here's the thing: if you have some of these anglers, do they tell the truth, John? I mean, if you ask them, where are you catching? Are you seeing anything? They're like, I've only caught 3. Well, maybe they've only kept 3. They may have caught 4. How do you know?
Well,
it's like asking
the only one I can
bow hunter where you are. Where's the? They're not going to tell you.
No, that I would say is 99% true. But JW, I want to say JW is probably one of the nicest fishermen that I know. That if someone calls him, he will give them. He's not going to give them like his secret spot on the spot away that he needs, but he will give them coordinates and tell them where to go catch fish. Every day he can. He's one of the nicest and most generous fishermen I know. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that won't, where'd you catch your fish? And they're like right in the court, right on the side of the mouth, They don't like to give away anything.
There used to be a gentleman that did a lot of fishing and every day would call in the coordinates where he took somebody and caught fish. And he got reprimanded pretty hard from the fishing community.
Really?
Oh boy. Yeah. They were like, stop giving away those points. Stop that, because now you're just making it crowded for the rest of us. And so he does not do that show anymore.
Yeah. I know that people get mad on stuff like that. And, but that lake is a big, you can go fish that lake, there's fish everywhere, and again, I'm not a fisherman, but you've got how many square miles of, hundreds of square mile of lake up there.
Yeah.
And it's funny how people just stack into one spot all the time. And like Jason, he fishes a lot of places that other people don't fish because he doesn't like to be around people and he likes to go find his own fish. He says it's kind of like hunting.
Yeah.
And he said, I spend a lot of time hunting, looking at maps, looking at electronics. And he said, these new electronics are great. He goes, but they put you on a lot of fish that aren't walleyes too.
Yeah.
So he said, I've never caught so many catfish in my life.
Yeah.
So I think he's learning some of that stuff.
How come there's only walleye tournaments and bass tournaments? I see that the South Dakota's having a carp tournament. I see they do that quite a bit down that area. But there is no catfish tournaments or smallmouth bass or, junkfish or any of that stuff. Wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Clean them out of the system,
Yeah, I went down to the ranch the other day and I was spraying, and in between fields, I took my fishing rod and threw it in the Ranger. I stopped, and my first cast, I caught a walleye.
Really?
Yep.
The
caught a
old
little-
Heart River is ready to
Yep,
rock, huh?
It is. And then about 3 casts later, I caught a smallie. And then went about 4 or 5 casts and didn't catch anything. And then threw a jig up in the rapids and let her kind of float down a little bit and started jigging it. And I had set into something good. And being the guy on social media, I had to turn my, get my video going.
Oh yeah.
And I was holding on to the phone and trying to reel it in. I was laughing and saying, "Yeah, look at this kid set into a good one." Turned the phone on my face and I'm smiling. And what do you think happens? I lost the fish.
Got away.
Didn't know what he was, and that was probably one of the bigger fish I would say I would have caught.
I'm guessing it was a 16, 17 pound record walleye is what I'm guessing right there.
It could have been.
It could have been on the Heart River. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my fishing,
See,
I enjoy that.
Now you gave away your secret spot. They're all going to be coming into the Heart River.
Well, I ran into it. I was going down the ranch, and there was a gentleman pulled over with this little boat. I mean, you're talking like a little square boat with a couple of seats sitting on the top, almost looked like a paddle boat.
Yeah.
So I stopped and asked him if they needed help, and he goes, "No, we're just checking things." And it was a younger gentleman, probably in his late 30s, and his son. He said, "Yeah, we were just fishing. We were at Niagara." And I said, "How'd you do?" And they go, "Not very good." And he goes, "We're going to Fish Creek now." And I said, "Well, good luck." I said, if you can, I said, "You should float the Heart River." I said, "Besides the occasional landowner that might shoot at you," I said, "and get mad." I said, "They don't own the river, but I said, some of them do." I said, "They get a little touchy about it." I said, "You just got to kind of be careful." But I said, "There's a lot of good fish in there." I said, "You're not going to catch huge fish, but I said, you could float that river and catch, I bet, 100 fish a day." There's all kinds of fish along those banks, and those little holes, a lot of smallmouth bass. It's just fun.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, North and South Dakota have some of the best fisheries that you'll find anywhere in the nation. They do an extraordinary job. I do. Gene Cox says there's a catfish tournament up in Glasgow, Montana. So there you go.
Yeah, and catfish are fun. And, they're good to eat, and they're fun to catch. When we would, back in our younger days, when we did some shows up on the tail race, you'd go up into those chutes and come spinning out of there. And the fun part of that was you didn't know what you were going to catch.
Yeah.
And we caught a lot of catfish up there. We caught trout up there. We caught salmon up there. We caught walleyes up there. It was fun. And a good catfish, I can remember when the kids were little, we used to go after Catfish Hunter, I would call them.
Catfish
from Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we raised our kids watching that show.
There's a place.
And we'd
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we set the poles out there, and the kids were playing. And I saw smoke behind me, so I took off and I thought something had happened, and someone was just burning some old windrows.
Yeah.
And I come back and I counted my rods, and we were missing a rod.
Catfish Hunter took it.
Catfish Hunter got it.
We'll be back more with John Arman here, talking a little bit of everything this morning. We'll have that coming up, plus some archery new proclamation going on in the North Dakota side right after these messages. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank. We're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do. Equal housing lender.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition, all across the Dakota Territory. Also on my live feed on my YouTube channel for now at Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Good to have you along here today. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventure TV is my guest. As we got to talk a little bit about the fishing. We got the Governor's Cups on both North and South Dakota going here this weekend. And we were talking catfish tournament. I got a text. They said, wasn't there a bow fishing tournament for carp on Oahe? They have that every year. And I had the guys on here, it was about 3 years ago, but anyway, they just get hundreds and hundreds of pounds of carp that they get off of that one too. So let's see what else. Lighted pin sights are now legal in North Dakota archery season, John.
Yeah, I saw that. We got a text. A guy from Fargo sent me the proclamation, and I guess I didn't read it. And I was like, it looks the same as always. He goes, no, look at the lighted sight.
Yeah.
And so they changed some things. And I know Wayne was sending it out, asking our opinion on it. And they did make some changes, and I think they're good changes.
Absolutely.
Because honestly, I would say 90% of the guys went out there with lighted sights, just like I did, because they come with your bow. Most sights come with a light that goes on your sight, and probably half the guys don't even know they're on there. And I've never used one, and I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have, because I'm one of those guys that feels like if you're going to break the law, you're going to be sitting in here blind with a spotlight. A lighted sight, and what it is, it doesn't project light. All it does is it illuminates your pin. So like when you're in a blind or in a tree stand or whatever, you can see your pin better. And when you get older, one of my old buddies, he's 75, and one of the wardens said, you got a lighted sight. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, that's a fine. And he goes, well, then find me. And he goes, then find me the next time and find me the next time. He goes, I'm 75 years old. I can't see my pins.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to help, and it's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't give you an advantage. There's not going to be more deer shots or anything like that.
No.
It just helps you. It's kind of like the lighted knock. It's funny. And I know why guys are hesitant about things like this is because you give an inch and some people want to take a mile. So I think it was a good change.
How are they taking a mile with archery though? Okay, so like spotlights with a rifle. Okay, I get that. I understand. Thermal optics. I get that. How are they doing that in archery? I mean, you still have a certain area that you have to be able to shoot a deer at.
Right.
I mean, it's not like you're reaching out 200, 300, 400 yards here. I mean, you got to still be within range of that deer. They're just worrying about going after the 30 minutes past sunset thing. Is that the only thing that they're worried about?
Well, I think so. And I think that, a lot of these laws were adopted. The Pope and Young's got, certain codes they go by, and some of the states go by that. But I think that if you look at the success rate of archery, and again, sometimes I always say, well, a limit is limit. You got a tag. Why can't you fill it? Well, if everybody filled their tag every year and it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. It's kind of like the crossbow theory. I think that the better we get with archery, you want to get better, but now guys are shooting it. When I was a kid, shooting at 40 yards was a long ways. There's very few people that shot at 40 yards. Now that's like a chip shot.
Yeah.
You have equipment that's better, and things just keep getting better and better. And I think, when we talk about some of the changes, I know that I had visited with Jesse about it too, and he's kind of in favor of having like rangefinders on your bow, which like they have sights now that you can just push a button when you're on your target and it will give you a range.
Right.
And it seems ethical, which again, you have a rangefinder in your hand, but the difference is it's going to take you 15 to 20 seconds to range your deer with your handheld rangefinder. Then you've got to, put that down and draw your bow. So getting that shot off is a little bit tougher, where if you just draw an animal, all of a sudden it's walking by, you pull draw, you stop, it stops, you range it, you shoot it, it takes a matter of 5 seconds or whatever. So then I think the challenge or filling your tag will be a little bit easier. And I think that's some of the scare that we're going to get so good at it, that it's just going to increase and increase and increase. And I think some people are worried about that just because we're going to go to a one tag system. We may, we already seem like we're inundated with bow hunters, and we want to get more bow hunters. But I think there's always that fear that there's going to be such a change that it's going to change everything.
Couldn't you make the argument, though? I mean, you look at rifle hunting. They never get 100%. If they get 70, 75% success rate, they call that a win, right? I mean,
right.
And look at how much, that has changed with scopes and range finding scopes and everything that are legal. I just don't see that. You still got to be a hunter. You still got to be able to get yourself in the right place. I just don't see all of these, like a range finding, a rangefinder that's mounted on your bow is going to take more deer than a handheld one. I just don't see it because, I mean, otherwise you'd see 100% in the rifle side.
Yeah, and there's always going to be that margin of error. And I think that, from the game and fish's perspective, and I'm just guessing. So I've talked to them about, bow hunting success rate. Well, they don't use bow hunting to manage deer. They say that's not equivalated into the management. We want to manage our population through our rifle tags.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the success rate. And I think that our success has gone up. I mean, it used to be like, I don't know what it was, 30% with a bow, and I think it's gone up quite a bit. So if we started equaling, 75% with our bow, and then I think we'd have to take everything in. We could either throw it all in a hat and say bow hunting, rifle hunting, crossbow, whatever you want to use, that's all a management for our deer, And if our management goal was, 70% or how many, 50,000 deer, I don't know. Then we just go all the way across the board, and I think it could be done. But I think there's a lot of, I don't want to go to that because I don't want to lose that 2 tags in North Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm selfish with that. So, I've always said that. I said, what's the difference between, a flooded cornfield for hunting ducks in and throwing out a little bit of corn in the field to lure the ducks in? Honestly, there's no difference, but one is legal, one is not legal.
Right.
And you only got 5 ducks you can shoot. So what's the difference if you shoot them in a flooded cornfield or over a baited field?
Yeah.
But again, that's where you get into ethics, get into all that stuff. I don't know what the deal is there.
I see where you're coming from. I just don't think that the percentage of is going to go up that much.
No, and I don't know how much it would go up, but just think about it. You're a spot and spooker, and you're sneaking up on an elk, and you see that elk. What's the first thing you got to do? You got to range it, right? Or you got to be really good at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If I'm going, that's if you don't have time, if you know that you have limited time, I still think that a person should have some of that old school in you, that you kind of know some of the ranges without having to,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would like to see what, our success, if there was a study done on pre-range finders, because you and I both did it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I used to walk my field after I made bales, and I would judge distance from bale to bale, and shoot. And, that's how I judged it. And then you'd practice. And then before you got in your tree stand, you'd walk each tree and mark those trees in your brain.
Yep.
But I wonder what the success was there versus a rangefinder. If it was a 10% difference or a 20% difference. So, I don't know. It would be I think it would be an advantage. I'd love it because if you were spotting and stalking something, that's the hardest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Is trying to range it and then putting your rangefinder down, hooking your release on, and then drawing back, because a lot of times you only get that, second, 2 seconds, a mule deer will stop.
Elk
it gets out of its bed, it runs, it stops, and then it looks back at you for a little bit and then takes off. And with that, bow sight, you'd be able to be at full draw, hit that button, you'd see it's 40 yards, and you'd be able to shoot them.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really would. I don't think it would be.
Well, I agree. We're going to continue this conversation. We're up against a break here, John, so stand by. But if you want to chime in, feel free to do so. 888-9-Dakota. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank. We're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do. Equal housing lender.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still
Welcome back, everybody. It is Dakota Prairie Outdoors, nearly 2 decades strong. And also, coming up next weekend, we're celebrating the Day of the Cowboy. And that's in Medora at the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Make sure to stop in on that. Free of charge. Starts at 1:30 on the patio. And enjoy. John Arman's my guest here from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. And we figured out he's not TikTok famous, but he could be. But he could be. And all he has to do is one dance challenge, John. And there's an Eminem song out there right now. I challenge you to watch and see if you can reenact the dance craze that's going on that one right now.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. All right. Before we went in, we were talking about just overall the sites and today's technology increasing, maybe the potentially increasing the chances of taking more deer. possibility going to a one TIG. You know, that one TIG system was even before they allowed lighted knocks. They were talking about that. I mean, it's been around for a long time. It's not necessarily, I don't think, linked just to increased, accessories that you can get for hunting. I think some people just want to see that overall anyway.
Right. I think, like Montana has a one tag system, and I think it's such a great state. If I lived there, I'd get an elk tag. And I guess that elk tag would replace not having a second deer tag, but having as a rancher or a farmer or just a hunter, it is nice to have the option to go bow hunting and to go rifle hunting. I like that. We're lucky here, and I think that our conversations we have off the air, we should. Too bad we can't have them on air because we get some good conversations going. And I don't know if everything just kind of ties together. We have success rate, we have new equipment. I know that Iowa was talking about banning cell cameras, and some of these other states have banned cell cameras because I've listened to some podcasts and they think that that's the number one thing that's changed. And I don't think it's changed North Dakota so much as it has changed like Iowa and places where Missouri or wherever I can go get a 80-acre lease, and that's all I need is 80 acres. And I can run, bait stations and I can run cell cameras and I can keep track of everything that's going on there without even being there. And then I see deer being active and I can go down there and start hunting. And I think that's the concern, is that a lot of these guys are leasing up properties and they're using cell cams and corn piles and feeders. And then, that's how they're going in to kill deer. And they're taking a lot of that land out of, I guess, production as far as hunting goes for other people. And so I don't know how far we're going with technology. I love cell cameras just for the fact that, like, when we go antelope hunting in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go set them up. I love getting excited seeing the pictures.
Yeah.
And I've never used a cell camera. Like, a deer shows up and I run down to the ranch and shoot it. That's just not me. That's like shooting a pheasant in the ditch.
Yeah.
It will tell me that they're daylight active and I get excited and I go down that weekend, but it doesn't make me run and go hunt. And I think that's what people are thinking. A lot of people do is they see a deer on camera, it's daylight, they go shoot it.
Yeah.
So with all this technology,
it's not like that at all.
No, we're a different animal in North Dakota because we're the plains, and an 80-acre tract in Iowa has more tree stands than I have on 2,000 acres.
Exactly.
Just because of the trees and stuff. So I think each state has got to manage their stuff differently, which I think is happening. I think that we've got to get the landowners more involved in some of that management at the game and fish level, because the landowners are doing 90% of the management of their place. And the wildlife out there. I mean, the game and fish sets the tags, which is great, but if they gave everybody $5 tags, would you let that guy come on your place and shoot $5?
No, not at all.
No, that's what I mean. So we manage them. Even, I get a gratis tag and I get a bow tag, and I usually only shoot one deer, if that, on my place, because I go by what we have on there for mature deer and stuff like that. So
I agree. It'd be hard to see the landowners not, and there's a lot of landowners that don't hunt too. I mean, I'm surrounded by quite a few that don't do any hunting whatsoever. But yeah, I guess. Okay, couple of questions before we get too involved here. Josh says, to me, the lighted sight is more ethical as far as being able to make a better shot in situations such as John talked about. So, and when it comes down to hunting, honestly, I think that a good ethical shot and a clean, clear shot is worth more than anything else. I mean,
absolutely,
you have to have that. I mean, if you're going out there and just poking and hoping, we got to have a talk there. The mayor says, I guess I've had the same fear with muzzleloader. When we opened up the game to scopes and inlines and all the other accessories, is it easier? But who knows? He said, so I mean, the muzzleloader guys, I mean, those are old school dudes right there. I mean, they're like the longbow of archery hunting, right? And
I think,
did it change the muzzleloader? Did more percentage of muzzleloaders deer get taken or not?
Oh, I would absolutely say, I shot one last year at 250 yards with a muzzleloader because I was using a 15 power scope.
Yeah.
Because I was in a state that you could use them. I like our law that we have. That even the inline versus, and I haven't shot a flintlock or the old school, but just a muzzleloader without a scope, shooting something at 100 yards is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. I like that we have that rule here. But again, I'm going on 11 years, 12 years now, trying to get a muzzleloader tag again. And I talked to a guy that has 19 points.
Yeah. I've never
Didn't get drawn.
gotten a muzzleloader tag yet.
Yeah. So, things have changed drastically, and and part of it, and I want everybody to understand that no matter what we talk about, no matter if it's lighted sights, trail cameras, all this stuff, everything boils down to one thing in North Dakota, and I think the majority of places. The access is one thing, but if we need more habitat, the more habitat we have, the more access we have. And if you think about pheasant numbers, all that stuff, when we had CRP, whether it was a good program as far as for farmers and ranchers, because it wasn't made for hunting, it was made for
highly erodible
land, but it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal for hunting. And if we could bring a program back like that, and we didn't have to open up our land, and people, if you gave people a choice to pay a rancher and farmer to put their land in the CRP, and they didn't get it, even if they didn't get to hunt it, they'd be for it because they know that the game, anybody that hunted it, knew that all the ground around it was 1,000 times better because there was animals everywhere because we had all this cover, and we don't have that anymore. If you go out east, it's they're farming everything from road to road.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And that's why there's such a big difference from west to east and why our deer population doesn't fluctuate like the east does so much.
Yeah. But you got, okay. Eric says, one of you guys have birds chirping in the background. That's John. He's out there with his parakeets.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm sitting in the yard. Sorry.
But
is it bothering you?
No, it's not bothering. It's just I'm hearing chirping here while driving. So it's like when I was bailing the other day in one of these songs, I was like, do I have a bearing going out? And I turned the radio down. It's like, oh no, it's just on the radio.
Yep.
But so now I lost the train of thought altogether on that here. But Wayne
CRP,
says,
that kind of stuff.
Oh, the CRP thing. Okay, yeah. That's a whole nother argument to get into with that. But so the East River versus West River, there's still deer out there. I mean, these farmers, they have cornfields, bean fields, sunflower fields. There's probably not as many trees or anything. And maybe that's the way the land is. Okay. You go back 150 years ago, there were no trees hardly in the Badlands either, probably. So,
right.
The habitat, I think, is in the eye of the beholder, all that. I think that those guys do have some pretty good deer on the eastern side of the state.
Oh, they do. But if you talk to people out there, I got one guy in particular. He's an outfitter, but he's a farmer. And they farm 12,000 acres out there. They got it figured out. They pay some of the farmers out there, and I hope the government or the game and fish starts adopting this. These guys pay locally a farmer to leave 40 acres of beans, 40 acres of corn in different spots.
Okay.
And
so I have to back up on this. So when I was growing up, on our place we had very small grains, most of it was ranching stuff, but my dad always left a strip in every single field.
Yes.
Okay. So in my mind, I'm still thinking maybe people do that, but probably don't anymore. I get that. And a lot of the trees that they planted over the years are getting, they're old, they're dying. If they're taking these tree rows out, I understand. I mean, they don't want just sticks and twigs hanging up their air seeders, but if leaving some strips out there or some acres, I think that's a great idea. However, if your wheat's only bringing in $4 a bushel, you need all that you can get, So, I mean, should we really,
and I understand that.
But
that's tough.
Are we supposed to rely on government or state programs in order to keep hunting going? I hope not.
Well, the thing about it is that it's hard because there's a reason why we have the amount of game we have on our place. And we are fortunate that we're very fortunate that because, yes, I did not have to work for it. I shouldn't say that. When I was a kid, I busted my butt. My dad bought it. He made a good living. He bought this back in the 60s. And we have always managed it for wildlife. He always had whoever ran the place had to leave food plots. We always have fenced out areas that we only flash graze. We've worked with the federal guys on grazing, and rotation and things. So we've always done that. And if you look at our place, the amount of deer on there compared to some of the neighbors, it's a huge difference. And we don't overhunt it. And so ranchers and farmers can do it, but we don't have to make a living off of our place.
Right.
On a bad year, we can say, you know what, we're going to move the cows off there and we're just going to take it in the shorts because we have regular jobs. Where a regular rancher is like, man, I got to take every blade of grass I can so I don't have to lose my herd. So that makes a difference. So I think some of these programs that we had were to try to help the farmer too by saying, we're going to pay you so you don't, you're farming ground. Because there's a lot of people farm ground that shouldn't be farmed. Like I was watching John Wayne the other day, south of them, whatever. He's like, that ground is not meant to be farmed.
Yeah.
There's some land that's not meant to be farmed. We try to farm it. And I don't want to rely on the government, but I also sometimes, like I said, it's a new generation of farmers. It's a new generation of ranchers. And you would think with each generation it would get better. And I look out east, and I even look out by our place. There's some old tree rows that are getting taken out. And the amount of deer that those tree rows used to hold was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, now it's all cropland. There's not one tree planted back into those tree rows because, like you said, the equipment is bigger. Where we used to be able to go through those tree rows with our equipment, now they got big air seeders. So they took all those old, elm trees out.
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal cover. And so now we lost that cover and we have a wheat field, which again, I can't blame the guy because he's paying for his kids.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got and the input costs are crazy. So one of the comments that's kind of leading up to what we're talking about here, I want to touch on. Wayne Moose says, some of the new technology has now taken away the outdoorsmanship on which we all grew up with.
Oh, and that's, we talked about that in the break. I'm a firm believer with a lot of that stuff. I do like technology. It's cool, some of the stuff, but I miss some of the, like I told someone, I said, well, how cool would it be sitting in a tree again and not knowing what deer are there, except by scouting. We use cell cameras all the time, and now it does help us manage our deer better, but the excitement of being in the tree, picking the spot, the trail, all that stuff, it was pretty cool when we grew up. Huge. And like I said, the success rate now seems like it's gone up. We have youth season for everything. And when we were kids, there was no youth season. And do we need a youth season to get kids involved? I don't think we do. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I know dads like it. Some dads don't. And I know the kids like it. But we didn't have a youth season that we got to go out in September because it was nice out. We didn't have to freeze. That was just part of your being a man. Growing up is like, hey, you're going to freeze your butt off and you're going to hunt with the big boys. This is how you do it.
John, here's a good example of why things have changed. When you and I were kids, who was the first one to eat if you got together with family? The adults. Now, who are the first ones that get served?
Yeah.
The kids. Somewhere, somehow, something has changed over that it is only and solely about the kids. And some of it's all right, but
what was this?
What's happening? What's happening to our society?
I don't know. And it's like, we keep talking about, and again, I run a bow camp, but we just had our best camp ever. We had like 35 kids. I capped it at 30 and I let 5 more in or 7 more in, 2 didn't show up. And I want to get kids involved in hunting, but when you think about it, we keep saying the numbers are going down across the United States. If the numbers are going down, then why is it so damn hard for me to get tag anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get an elk tag. I can't get a deer tag in certain places. I know some of it is population, and like here in North Dakota, we lost 40,000 deer.
Oh yeah.
But do we need to compete with all these? We're competing with all these sports clubs, and these kids are playing hockey year round, and everybody's like, well, my kid's got to shoot a big deer just so he's interested. And I'm like, well, then that kid shouldn't be a hunter. I'm so old school on that, and I get frustrated. I will take any kid hunting for a doe if I have the does. I'm not always big on the bucks, and I tell them, if you're going to come buck hunting with us, we had 2 youth hunters the last couple of years. A young lady shot a spike, and the other guy shot a fork mule deer. I was tickled; they were tickled.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let them shoot a 180-inch deer or 160-inch deer their first time, no matter if it walked out in front of them or not.
Yeah.
And people can call me selfish or mean. I just don't want it to be about the big buck.
Right.
And I have guys that will be first time hunters, and they're 25 years old or whatever, and they're like, well, I won't shoot that. When I go, why? He goes, it's too small. I'm like, have you ever shot a deer? And they go, no. And I said, well, then you're going to shoot it. Otherwise, you're not shooting it on my place. And I want them to enjoy the experience. And it's not about how big it is.
No, it isn't. I agree with that here. But we're getting closer and closer. We got a couple minutes here before we're done with the radio side of things. We might continue here on the YouTube side of things a little bit longer. But I would be curious, John, to know how many tags. Are you talking about competing? I wonder. I have yet to see a raffle ticket that doesn't have some type of a hunt on it somewhere. Whether it's whether it's an antelope hunt in Colorado or antelope hunt in Wyoming. I mean, it seems like I'm just curious how many tags each state for deer and elk are given for fundraising or for,
right.
I don't know, like different organizations. I wonder how many that are taken out of there for that. I'd be curious to know that.
Well, and I would like to know, and again, I'm all for, I've been involved in groups that take kids that are sick.
Yep.
And life-threatening illness. I've taken wounded warriors out, veterans. I love it all. But one of the things I always look at too, and it's even like our youth hunt. So we just lost 40,000 deer, and we cut our tags way back. How many youth tags did we cut back? I'm going to bet there's none.
No, I don't know.
They will always. And I wonder how many of these raffle tickets we cut back on.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think, again, I'm all for all of it, and I'm all for getting the youth involved, but youth if you're going to be part of the hunting and part of the management, part of it is, if we're cutting back tags, we should be cutting back some of those youth tags also. And some guys are going to disagree with me, but I'll argue till the day I die that we have become such a generation of fluff, and we got to give our kids everything. And I just don't believe it. I don't believe you have to give a kid his first hunt in September to be hooked on deer hunting. I think he would probably be more hooked on deer hunting if he was with the crew in November. And I've been a proponent of everybody can get their first buck tag, but it's only a buck tag during the regular season and not in September.
John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Thanks for coming on the program. We'll continue this on my YouTube channel here as we continue on. Eat some meat, drink some milk, have yourself a great week, and wear fur and wool, and enjoy another day here in the Dakota Prairie Outdoors. All right, stations, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's go to the after side of things here, John, here, as we can continue our comments without having to hold back as much.
That one's fast.
Yeah. It's a good conversation to have, because nobody has this. Nobody ever says, let's take some shit away from kids.
Well,
nobody ever says, why are we giving so many tags out for raffles? And I get that the raffles make money to help these organizations or clubs or AAU or what. I get that. I understand that. But I just curious, how many of those tags are we giving out? Is it 100? Is it 50? Is it 500? I don't know. I know of at least 20 groups that I know personally that get a tag every year to put on a raffle of some sort to make money.
Right. And again, I'm all for it, but if our deer numbers are down, do they get cut? Or is it just us that get cut? And call me selfish. And I said this to my kids when they were growing up. they were like playing sports and stuff, and they were talking about traveling teams and things like that. And I'm like, I just told them, I said, here's the deal, kids. I said, if you want to be on a traveling team, I said, we can afford it. But I said, I'm not coming down the road with you. I'm not going to all the games. And I said, I didn't wait till I'm, 45 years old and work my butt off to get to do the things that I do.
Yeah.
Just to not do them anymore. And call me selfish, and I am selfish because I'm in a place in my life that I can go on some of these hunts and do those things. And I don't feel like I should have to give up what I want to do to make somebody else happy all the time. Not that I don't do it. I mean, I do it a lot. But if I want to go, on an antelope hunt, I want to go on an antelope hunt. And I don't think that I shouldn't be able to get a tag because we're so worried about giving all our tags away or getting the youth. And I'm not against youth. I just don't think that we have to treat them so like they're so like delicate. Let them be a part of the rest of it. We never had a problem in the past. I don't think we're losing hunters like they say we are. I really don't. And I don't think by giving a kid a buck tag and he shoots his first buck in September that it's going to make him hooked on deer hunting. I just don't see the benefit of it.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with I think it's got to do something with the parenting. And I'm gonna get in trouble with this too here. But this is
I am too, because I know people.
Because some of the parents want their kids to get a buck. They want that because they only shoot bucks.
Right.
How many of the parents got excited over getting a doe? Or do they show the same excitement and the photo ops and everything when they take a doe?
Right.
I think there's I get a kick out of it. I mean, I have cow elk hunter. I have a list here. Okay. I started my list. There's a couple of them that aren't on the list already. And they're excited. Now I'm excited to get them and give them the opportunity to take cow elk because they're creating some issues for me. And you don't see a lot of that anymore. And it's same thing. Everybody wants the big antlers, big stuff. And, Levi even told me, he says, you got the big elk spotted ready? I'm like, I think I'm going to be taking a cow this year.
Yeah.
Well, why would you do that? Why would you? They're the ones creating problems, and they taste so much better. Now, don't get me wrong. If something nice comes in front of me and I have the opportunity, absolutely. But am I going to seek it out and spend my entire from September to end of December? Probably not. If I have an opportunity and to get it taken care of, and it's a nice old or a dried up cow that has been eating all my liquid feed, I'm going to probably take her out of spite.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, and I'm going to take some credit for wrecking hunting because we're a TV show. And I think that the TV shows in the industry and the big buck craze has kind of hurt hunting.
Yeah.
Because in the past, when I was a kid, we just shot whatever. I mean, we'd made drives and things. Yes, some of the stuff we've done now is way better management, way better ethical shots and things like that. But when you watch, the Drury's, Lee and Tiffany and all these guys, and they're all, I mean, I don't even watch the shows because all they shoot is 180-inch deer.
Yeah, it's got to be big all the time.
And they will pass on deer that are 160 inches. And I'm like, I don't know, even if I lived in Iowa, if I would pass 160-inch deer. If it got me excited, I shoot it. And I think that's one thing different about our show is we're not trophy hunters. If I had a 180-inch deer in my place, yes, I would try to kill it. But most of the deer we shoot are 150-inch deer, and we would shoot that every year that we get a chance. It doesn't make a difference if he's 3.5 years old, 4.5 years old, or if he was 8 years old. I would probably shoot it. And when we go out of state, we do the same thing. I don't wait for trophy antelope. I think people like our show because we're average guys and we don't shoot.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons that I think that I have gotten along with Randy Birdsong so well is that he is the same way. They don't shoot 170-inch deer on his TV show. And that guy, when he shoots a 140-inch deer in my place, you thought he'd have shot a 200-inch deer. He gets that excited. It's not fake.
No.
And every time he pulls the trigger, he just likes pulling the trigger. He likes killing animals. He likes eating them. And that's why I enjoy his show is because it's relatable. Because a lot of these shows aren't relatable, but I think that they've made everybody think that you're not a good hunter unless you pass up deer And there's nothing wrong with that, because like I said, I'll pass up certain deer, but they belittle people if they shoot a 3.5-year-old deer. And if you're not shooting a 170-inch deer, you're not much of a hunter. And that's where you get these kids coming in, first-time hunters, and they want to shoot. It's not big enough, and I struggle with that.
I do too. It's some of the comments here. It says Gene Cox says hunting has turned into a big buck competition, and you can only get the big buck if you have all this expensive gear that they're trying to sell. Wayne says, I totally agree. We're turning our kids into entitlement society.
Oh, absolutely, Wayne. 110%, 120%, 130%. I've watched it, and I've been part of it, because I got to say, my kids are two really well-rounded kids, but I should have worked them a little bit harder when they were younger.
Yeah.
I felt like I hated my life sometimes so bad when I was a kid, having to fix fence and spray and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not going to make my kid do that. Well, I should have made him do a little bit more. It would have just made him a little tougher, because it didn't hurt me. It just, at the time, he didn't like it.
Right. Gene also says mentor hunting in South Dakota no longer has a minimum age. And I didn't know that. How many 6-month-old kids have deer tags? That's a good question. If they don't have a minimum age, I can see some parents putting in their 8, 9, 10-year-olds for a deer tag, for mentored hunting.
Yeah. I don't like, I've watched it, on the, like I said, I'm not picking on the juries or the Midwest Whitetail. I forget one of them. These guys will have 5-year-old kids out there, 6-year-old kids out there shooting 160-inch deer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the kid isn't, if you're not old enough to walk and hold a gun, my kids carried their gun. They were 8 years, I started them turkey hunting in our backyard probably when they were 6, but that's just walking out the back door, sitting in the blind. But, they carried their gun. When they hunted, I'm not carrying your gun. That's part of it. And God, we start kids in 3rd grade now playing organized basketball. A kid can't even dribble.
Yeah.
The ball's bigger than he is, but everybody wants to start him so much earlier. And then I don't know. I don't agree with it. So I think the way we do it is pretty good. I think 14 should be your first buck tag, and if was it 12 and 13, you can get a doe tag, and I don't mind that at all.
So we were talking earlier about, the kids and entitlement and this and that. Do you think that we're busier now than we were when we were kids, John? Because it seems, we always had time on the weekend. We always had time to go pheasant hunting or grouse hunting or deer hunting. We always made that time. And now it's like the society is, we got to go, right? We leave Saturday morning. We got to be back Sunday at noon because, the kids got a basketball tournament or a softball tournament, or they got this going on or this. Skip the damn tournament.
Well, and that's it. The thing is like I told my kids, I went to the only games I didn't go to when they played organized high school sports was like when we were going to Williston or Belcourt, if it was going to be a blowout. But that was a regular season. And I didn't mind doing that because that's part of them growing up and being in high school. But what's taking over is these traveling sports. And every kid, every parent, I don't know what it is, they're in every sport, and it's at such a young age. I see wrestling at 3rd grade and younger, 1st grade, kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go to these tournaments all over. And I'm like, I'm not saying they're bad parents, but I think sometimes that they're just misguided a little bit. And a kid needs to be a kid. My kids were outside all the time, and they weren't in traveling sports. They still made varsity sports at a young age. They still had a great, career. They both had scholarships, one into college. But they got burned out on sports. They both decided not to play college sports because they were just done with it. And I think we miss out on the hunting and fishing because parents have got their kids so organized. It's like they feel like if they don't have them doing something all the time, then they're going to be on video games. Well, again, that's parenting. Just don't give them video games. Don't give them phones.
Give them chores.
Let them
give them chores.
Give them things that they have to do. They should be going over to grandma's and mowing her lawn and doing things like that, and just getting outside. And you just don't see it. I mean, there's a few kids, and I like to see them. I love seeing these pictures of 15, 16-year-old kids with a limit of geese and a limit of fish. and some of them are athletes, but they still make time to go on the weekends. You know, if they have a day off. I know when we played sports, I remember, losing our championship game to get into the championship and hurry up. And we were mad that we lost, but it was deer season, man. We got home changed and we're headed down to the ranch. I mean, we were thinking about deer hunting just as much as thinking about the championship game. And every weekend that we didn't have football or basketball, we were doing something outside.
So Brian Warner just commented, John, and it hits pretty good. Every generation gets further away from the farm and ranch and gets busier with recreation and not enjoying and just living. And that is true, man. I agree with him 100% on that.
Well, it's like this when the guy said you got something chirping in the background. My wife and I sit on the deck in the mornings, and we're blessed that we sit out here. And every tree that is on our place, this was a pasture with nothing. And now we got huge trees and we got birds all over. And just to sit and listen to that. How many people do that?
Hey, I took time this morning. I shut everything down and I watched the sunrise a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is being a rancher and a farmer, it's like you're out there and we do sometimes take things for granted. But how many times are you driving down the road, listening to your favorite song? And all of a sudden you look out and you see elk or whatever, and you just get a big old grin on your face going, man, am I lucky? Yep. And I feel that way. I feel bad that I can't share everything I have with everybody, because that's why I take kids hunting down the ranch. It's not about killing an animal. I want them to experience what I got to experience as a kid, this log cabin, a fire, guys sitting around having a beer, telling jokes, hanging the deer up on a skinning pole and skinning it when it's freaking cold out and miserable out. And that was all the fun of it. I mean, I loved that. And I think every kid I've ever taken has enjoyed the heck out of it. The one young man, get this. So we took him deer hunting, and it's a family that we're taking the oldest. He's 21 years old and he's never been hunting. So we've taken him on his first deer hunt this year. Well, the young man that shot the deer last year is down at the ranch, and he'll be down there tomorrow, and he's helping us floor put new flooring in the ranch cabin, because that's what he does with his uncle as a side job. He came down there on his own dime, not getting paid a cent, won't take a cent. We gave him money for gas, and which was hard for him to take, but he came down there to help us. And that's the kind of kid that, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I got messages coming in here. It says, this summer this is from Dave out of Minnesota. He says, I got a gravel pile. My nephew and niece's kids came out for a little while, and he went and got his old Tonka toys out. And those kids came over, said, played for an hour to 2 hours just on the gravel pile. And you don't see that all the time. I mean, it's little things like that. And then my buddy Jay over here says, some of us and our kids just need to take a break from the ranch. Grady and I are today going to go help my dad hay and move cows. Good vacation, then help. And then Jesse and I, we're going to work his calves and do some stuff up in Hazen tomorrow. So, there's no doubt. So.
Oh yeah, and people do need, like I said, and I know that the rural ranch life gets busy too, because a lot of these kids want to play sports, and I don't know how many of the kids in the small towns are going on traveling teams, and that kind of thing, but it's always nice taking a break from stuff like that. And your guys' break is a lot different from your break. Might be leaving your place to go help someone else. And that's
Absolutely.
Just enjoyable.
It is. It's always nice to help. If the wreck happens on somebody else's place, it's so much more enjoyable.
Isn't it nice? And I just, I think about guys like when you have your branding, how stressful it is.
Oh,
but when you go to someone else's branding, this is a piece of cake. I don't have to do anything really. I'm not worried about,
No, it's good times. No, it's fun. I suppose, John, I got some company. I'm going to take this young gal. She, so one of my black belts, one of my first adults when I was teaching in Brookings, South Dakota. Mm-hmm. She has a 10-year-old daughter now. They came up to visit the ranch here a little bit, and she got up at 4:00 this morning, went out and helped check waters and put mineral out and doctor some cows. And we're going to take her up through the East River Road and up to Medora and she's wanting to look at some of the history of this area. So as a 10-year-old girl, that I tell you what, I'm so far pretty impressed with her.
Pretty impressed. Oh, that's awesome.
I am. Yeah. So gonna
That
try
was
to
very cool.
So I'm taking a little bit of a day off here today and going doing that.
Well, that sounds like a fun time, and I still I'm gonna try. I keep seeing it, but I got to get out to your place. I've not been there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have you come out and take a little cruise. It still looks pretty decent. I mean, it's turned because of the 90-degree temperatures, but there's the brush and the cover and the trees and the pines and cedar trees. Everything is looking really good so far yet this year.
Well, good.
But we need
Well, good.
I hate to say it, we need some of our pasture grass to start drying a little bit because when it dries out, this grass packs the pounds on the calves.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how it does that. But
Well,
anyway,
I think with the weather coming, it's going to happen.
oh, it's going to be a hot couple weeks. But I appreciate it, and don't stress me out and call in the last second again.
That's my bad. I had, what I did is I got up and I was like playing with the dogs, and I had my phone up in my room, and my wife just happened to pick it up, and I was like, I wasn't even paying attention to the time. Sorry, buddy. Tell the other guys thanks for stepping in.
Yeah, I'll get them. I think Wayne and Gene will get them on one of these other weekends here too. So, all right, man.
All right.
Have yourself a great day. Appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you.
You bet. See ya. Let's see. John is the Prairie Dog Town. No, I'm not. I don't think she's ready to shoot stuff yet. However, I should have told this one on walking across the yard yesterday. I was showing her how many toads. We have a lot of sand toads around. And she's like, hey, look at here, a baby snake. And it was a baby rattlesnake. So I had to kill that really quick. But I don't think the Prairie Dog Town is up her style just yet. I threw a lot of ranch stuff at her already here. Appreciate it. Josh, my boy, loves the outdoors hunting. I'd like that too. Thank you guys for tuning in and staying with me here on the After Hours. Appreciate it. Each and every day. Have yourself a great one. Enjoy.